obviously, it's one of the main talking points in the team. Heading into Monday, is Nick Sirianni coaching for his job? Obviously, the midday show just did it. And how I kind of feel about it today, Ike, and I'm honestly going to be floored if the reaction is not overwhelmingly in agreement. But I feel like it's not going to be, and I don't care. Because if they lose on Monday, and frankly, even if they win, the Eagles have to do whatever it takes to bring in and hire Bill Belichick to be their next head coach. You only have these opportunities every once in a while. It's not very often that the best coach in the history of football, or at least in modern football, becomes available. And it seems like he's going to become available. And if he does, and when he does, because I think he will, I want the Eagles to be all over it. I want Bill Belichick. I need Bill Belichick. They need to go and do what it takes to bring Bill Belichick here to be the next head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles.
What? So here's the thing, right? And you've been gnawing at this for the last 2 days.
Couldn't wait.
Yeah.
Tweeted in the second quarter on Sunday, by the way.
Yeah, you couldn't wait to get to this.
Yes.
I'll say this. Bill Belichick, I don't think anybody should be opposed to having Bill Belichick as their head coach. So I certainly wouldn't be opposed to having Bill Belichick as my head coach. As I said on the midday show prior to the end of that and coming into our show here, I just, stability matters. And having this revolving door of head coaches every 2 to 3 years, 3 to 4 years, because the coach doesn't necessarily meet the expectations of everyone in that 1 year. I just don't know if that sends a good signal or sign out to the football world. And you said even if they win Monday, you're really tripping there.
Even if they win.
Even if they win.
Well, because what does it matter? I mean, you should beat the Bucs. Like one win should not, and then we'll see what happens next week.
You're saying it's still an upgrade, and you're looking at all the other things that are wrong with the team that you're not going to allow a playoff win to mask that. You still think that changes need to be made.
Of course, because it's still a disappointment.
Well, let me just say this. So instead of trying to stack Nick Sirianni up against Bill Belichick,
which is the resumes are not exactly the same there.
Yeah, instead of doing that, I would look at it this way. So maybe this will get you off of this topic.
Good luck.
For now and forever. What that would mean, bringing in Bill Belichick from a organizational being run standpoint. It pretty much just hands over everything to Bill Belichick, right?
Well, he did say in his press conference yesterday that he'd be open to having personnel taken away from him.
Sure. Probably in New England.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to do that here.
Or maybe he sent a message to Howie and the Eagles saying, I come down there, I don't need personnel control, and I'll come over and I'll run the football team.
He's going to work with Howie?
Well, he can have some say. It's not like I don't want Bill Belichick to be powerless here.
Right.
He can have some say. I don't think he's going to need to come in and be like, everything needs to be run my way or the highway.
Right.
Because the team is kind of already set. Let me lay out my case.
Okay, go ahead.
Here's why I want Belichick. And 215-592-9494. Do you want Bill Belichick as the next Eagles head coach? If they were to move on from Nick Sirianni, who would you rather have as the head coach next year? Nick Sirianni or Bill Belichick? Get in 215-592-9494. Here's my case. Is that he's the best coach ever, at least in modern football, a ton of titles. We know that. I don't really care about the Brady thing. I know his record without him is whatever. He'd be walking into a team that's pretty ready-made, and if you're worried about the offense, he has a quarterback in place. He has 2 number 1 receivers. He's a good offensive line. He has Dallas Goedert. He has DeAndre Swift, whatever. We'll see what they do with running back next year. The offense is ready-made. I mean, the defense is the one that needs to be fixed, and then there's not a better defensive mind than Bill Belichick.
I agree with you there. What that means, Matt Patricia stays?
Sure, whatever. Matt Patricia did win 2 Super Bowls with Bill Belichick as the defensive coordinator. I know no one's happy with Matt Patricia, and I'm not happy with Matt Patricia. But if Bill Belichick is the head coach, yeah, I'll be okay. I'll be okay with Matt Patricia. So I don't really need to hear about the Brady record, this, that, whatever. Bill Belichick's a great coach, and this offense is already pretty much in place. Would he need to hire Josh McDaniels? Probably.
Oh, we're going to bring in everybody from New England. Yeah, bring in the whole crew.
Josh McDaniels is a good offensive coordinator. He's a terrible head coach.
Right.
That's bore itself out. Right. But if he's good enough for Tom Brady, he's good enough for Jalen Hurts then. and at least he's a tough head or a tough coordinator, whatever. So I'm not super worried about his record without Tom Brady because I think he's walking into a ready-made situation. This guy is 15 wins away from being the all-time wins record holder in the National Football League. There's reports about him being so hell-bent on beating Shula because Shula snuffed him a couple years ago. I'm not sure. You're telling me he'd rather go to Washington than in the middle of a rebuild or Atlanta without a quarterback with Desmond Ridder and I don't know, like
not Desmond Ridder, that's for damn sure.
Bijan, sure, Atlanta. You're telling me that he's a fit for the Atlanta Falcons or Washington.
I don't see Bill Belichick in Atlanta.
I don't see that either. Honestly, you know what the reason is? I think the jerseys are too modern looking.
Yes, I'm saying it. I'm just saying it's Atlanta. I've lived there for 2 years. Bill Belichick is not. That doesn't mesh.
And sure, could he go to the Commanders?
And I'm sort of a younger coach.
They do, I agree. Jim Mora Jr.
Yeah, no. There you go.
but you're telling me he'd rather go to the Commanders over here?
The Commanders, he's gonna get. Joshua Harris is giving him full control.
That's fine, but also, how long is it going to take him to get this wins record? I mean, he's 72 years old. He could win 15 games here next year. And
he can't win 15 games here next year.
They won 11 games this year. And they're not. And then people think this team's going to lose to the Bucks on Monday. You're telling me that he can't maybe get close to the wins record next year? So
get 10.
Opportunities to get a guy like Bill Belichick just don't come around very often. And you know what it reminds me of, Ike? It reminds me so much of how Andy ended here. Do you think teams are kicking themselves they didn't hire Andy Reid in 2013?
Yes.
I mean, look at his last 3 years in Philadelphia. 2010, he was 10-6.
I remember that.
He went 8-8.
Yep.
And then he went 4-12.
Yep.
Belichick, 2021, 10-7, 8-9 in 2022, and 4-13 this year. Did Bill Belichick forget how to coach?
Well, some people think he did.
Did Andy Reid forget how to coach?
No, he did not.
No, he was still a great head coach, and now he's worked himself, into a top
and
five.
He gave up some of the personnel control too when he first got out there.
When he got out there, he did not.
John Dorsey out there,
and then he eventually got John Dorsey out there.
Yeah, then he got John Dorsey out there and got his guy in there, Brett Veach.
Still, at the beginning, he got along with him very well. So. Yeah. I just don't think opportunities like this come along very often, and it does remind me of Andy. And, I think when we look at how this team is currently built, it seems like the culture may be on kind of shaky ground. You have Javon Hargrave talking about how, we're not getting pushed very hard in practice or at the Niners. That won't happen under Belichick. This thing has to get reined in because it feels like guys are just kind of going out there and doing their own thing, and we're not seeing a real tough football team. I mean, they got out physical by the Cardinals. They got out physical by the Giants. You think that's going to happen with a Bill Belichick-led team? You don't pass up the opportunity to go get Bill Belichick. He's the best coach of all time. And I don't get this whole, he's washed, he's cooked, this, that, whatever. He's 15 wins and has the motivation of Tom Brady leaving and winning a Super Bowl.
How does this benefit Jalen in the offense? It seems like everybody has an issue with the offense. So how does bringing in Bill Belichick, you're saying Josh McDaniels is coming in, right? That's going to be his OC.
Yeah.
Some
Super Bowls.
Yes, something to that effect as his OC. They never, other than Cam Newton, and that didn't work out very well. And I think they tried to get Cam Newton to fit into their offense versus building an offense around what Cam Newton does well. They've never had a quarterback like Jalen Hurts where they've been successful with. This offense that they like to run, even with Josh McDaniels, has more to do with lining up under center, timing routes, 3-step, 5-step drops, wide receivers. Today's game is more about, read option and RPOs and all of that type of stuff. Is Bill Belichick changing and moving to that way of thinking when it comes to offense?
Well, we know that Bill Belichick's not an offensive guy, but I think that he's not.
But he has to be open to the idea based on who he hires as his offensive coordinator.
Sure, and if it's I throw out McDaniels because at least they were aligned and he's available.
Right.
It's not all about Jalen. I mean, it's about the team. It's about the team. And you're telling me that they have a chance to go get a Bill Belichick on the open market and come in and be the new overseer here and be the leader of men? I mean, he's a leader of men.
So let me ask you this. So is it okay, that and I'm okay with that. I'm not going to just flame you for this take, but I'm looking at the Eagles and I'm wondering what is the biggest issue, or is it We need a culture change. You need toughness in here. Is it the offense is stale? It's about getting Jalen back to playing football and taking that next step. You know, where I looked at Jalen 6-7 weeks ago and how he was playing, I was making the argument he's a top 3 quarterback in the league. Is anybody? I can't make that argument today based on what I've seen the last 3 weeks, and I'm not saying he's played terrible, but he damn sure hasn't done anything that's been special over the last 6 weeks. He hasn't done anything that's been special.
No.
So you have to wonder, okay, how does this impact? When you say it's not about Jalen, it kind of is about Jalen because you're only going to go as far as he can take you, and it's the taboo subject when we're talking about this team. It's why we yell about everybody else. Quite frankly, Jalen's play could be what the biggest issue is on this team and with the offense because he's not operating at an efficient, elite level. We want to blame everybody else around him. It's this person's fault. It's that person's fault. The play calls aren't great, this and that and the other. I heard one caller say earlier they need to simplify things.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah, you want to simplify things, but yeah, it's not complicated enough to
fool defenses.
To fool defenses. Well, why is that? Is it that the coaches can't run a complicated scheme or the players can't run the complicated scheme?
Well, you know what would help Jalen?
What?
Having a Bill Belichick-led defense that would at least give him a chance to keep the game close. I mean,
that is true. You don't have to score as many points.
We watched Bill Belichick before Tom Brady got Randy Moss.
Yeah.
Win multiple Super Bowls with Tom Brady being game manager.
Deion Branches and
I don't want to bring up bad memories of Tom Brady looking off Ike Reese in the middle of the field.
David Patton.
Patton.
Yeah, these guys that he was throwing to.
They had Corey Dillon.
Yeah.
Like the Eagles,
but they ran the ball and played defense.
The Eagles' offense on paper, this Eagles' offense hasn't been that creative all year, and they still have put up numbers.
Right.
You know, they've put up offensive numbers. You're telling me that Belichick can come in, hopefully fix the defense, and yeah, the offense, McDaniels, whatever, do they have to get things rolling on that side of the ball? Sure, but it takes out so much of the leeway. Bring me Belichick.
So you know you're moving Howie out of the way.
Fine.
Okay.
Well, he's not that special. He's not that special. I'm sorry. He's not. He's a really good GM. I appreciate Howie.
God.
He's not special enough to where it's deterring me from getting Bill Belichick.